Beoge gung gen digo mu ba ko nyato mzu mbo bom nda o mutene kwe abo kukawa ke bebetu kuke be mu bangne be zara mbatu no kwa. My fellow Mbatu brothers, sisters, children, parents and grandparents, it's a great honor for me to address you on the eve of the Mbatu revamping meeting. Mbatu being the Mbatu Credit Union. Our credit union has had its share of tough times. But like I indicated in my previous outing on this subject, it is not really the fault of Mbatu. It is not really a shortcoming that we should capitalize on and allow this ship to sink. 25 years to 30 years ago, when the credit union wave was sweeping through Cameroon, the Mbatu people were one of the first to jump into that boat and buy this idea that there is indeed a new financial model that brings communities together, helps them pool capital together to use it and empower themselves socioeconomically. In fact, one of the Nobel Peace Prize laureates of modern times is a Bangladesh professor, economics professor by name Muhammad Yunus. And on top of his Nobel Prize, President Obama also gave him a congressional medal, a very strange thing for a foreigner to earn in America. Because this man developed a concept that grew into a full-fledged bank. And his concept was simple: helping poor communities, families, and individuals with microloans of sometimes as small as $100, and then mentoring them to using those small loans to transform their socioeconomic lives. It is not a coincidence that the majority of the success stories that Bangladesh has recorded under this initiative is women. So it is proven, even according to scientific evidence, that if you want to multiply your seed, give it to a woman. Mbatu people founded their own credit union. And in the spirit of, informal community solidarity and understanding and mutual support, our credit union functions like a credit union is supposed to function, based on trust. Unfortunately, the last 2 decades has seen a transformation in the microfinance landscape in Cameroon with the introduction of so-called OHADA laws into microfinance institutions, or credit unions now being transformed into commercial institutions. And Mbatu people were left behind because they were clinging to that philosophy of mutual trust and support. So it would be an error on our part to judge the Mbatu Credit Union on the same standard as, for example, Ntarikon Credit Union or Bamenda Police Credit Union or Azri Credit Union. No. There are credit unions that were smart to have caught the economic wave, and they built themselves around the capitalist idea of functioning like regular banking institutions. That's why they got category 2 accreditation, COBAC numbers, and so on. And their story is different. So the problems that Mbatu Credit Union has been having is the fact that we have been running a financial institution in an economic environment that favors capitalism. Meanwhile, we have been stuck with the old philosophy of community and mutual support. All the outstanding loans that Mbatu has is a result of this community focus that Mbatu has had. The possibility of a few managers of our credit union having swindled millions of francs CFA is a result of this community focus that Mbatu has had. And I keep assuring Mbatu people that even with these losses that we've incurred, or these lapses that we've incurred, we cannot call them losses because we've learned from them and we are in the process of recovery. Even these lapses that we've incurred are not new. Ask institutions like Chase, Bank of America, BSEC, EcoBank, Union Bank, even the World Bank or the IMF. There are certain problems that every financial institution goes through during their early stages, and then they use those problems as avenues for learning. Because at the end of the day, there's no textbook that we can read to come and run a credit union. Because a credit union belongs to a community, and every community is unique. So, why did I have to go back to this history? To reassure those Mbatu people that have been dragging their feet about supporting the Mbatu Credit Union. Mbatu Credit Union is not somebody's property. It's one of the monuments of Mbatu. And if you want to learn from our neighbors, let me not call names because I don't know where this video will go. We know that there are villages around us, our sister villages, that the moment you call a project, the moment you name a project and you attach the name of their village to it, they don't ask questions. Everybody falls behind it. That's how they get their own credit unions. That's how they get their schools. That's how they get all sorts of developmental projects in their communities. And they damn the consequence. Some of them have even seized land from us because of that community spirit. And come to think of it, Mbatu people are greater in numbers than some of those villages. Mbatu people are greater when it comes to money, when it comes to some of those villages. In fact, there's a fund of one of those villages near us who once said that if you give him just 4 Mbatu elites, he will create miracles in his village. Question now is, where are those elites? So, Mbatu first should be a philosophy, a spirit that we live by. Because when you put your individual interests first, you can make all the money you want on earth. You can achieve all the professional achievements that you want to achieve on earth. Your CV can be as thick as a Bible. Who cares if you have no impact in your community? All of us know at the end of the day, when your corpse comes back home for burial, Mbatu people will only look and say, "It waiting for village." None of us wants to overhear that, if I thought corpse is here. But the credit union project is a very straightforward project. Nobody is asking you to go and dump your 10 million francs somewhere. All we are asking for is, this is a monument of our community. It has been evolving over the past 2-3 decades. It has had its own share of challenges. We have now embraced our responsibility as a community to learn from those challenges and then build a financial institution that will not only stand the test of time, but serve its true purpose of having a socio-economic impact in the lives of the average Mbatu person. Why did I mention Muhammad Yunus earlier? Because a credit union is not just about savings and loans and dividends. Once you have a license to run a financial institution, there are hundreds of investment ideas that we can exploit within the provision of the law to enrich the members of that credit union. So the goal of the meeting tomorrow is to revamp this credit union, reconstitute the board of directors and the supervisory committee, and set the stage that we can now use to say, okay, if we are revising our articles of association, let us do it. If we are revising our internal rules and regulations, how we appoint, retain, promote, or fire staff, let us do it. If we are to develop a business plan and say, okay, this is the investment strategy. Whatever Mbatu Credit Union wants to invest in, is it agriculture? Is it real estate? Is it stock market or whatever? What expertise can we bring into the house to generate what capital, invest in what venture, to generate what projected revenue over what time frame, and what is going to be the benefit of the average member of the credit union? That is where we are headed to. And in order for us to head in that direction, we need this revamping. We need a board of directors that speaks the language of investing, the language of financial intelligence, the language of quality management, the language of credibility and availability. But then we have to face the reality that no matter how beautiful your car, if there's no fuel in it, it will just rot in your garage. So this drive toward a revamping fund, it's not about charity. It's about Mbatu people showing their good faith by investing in the credit union, anything small, so that we can attain our goal of 10 million francs. Rekukam, the supervisory body of Mbaku, is going to match that revamping fund. And that is the liquidity that we need to run while we are doing our restructuring and our re-strategizing. So my appeal for you today, on the eve of this revamping meeting, is that any amount that you had already put in that revamping fund, please double it. And anybody who is listening to me now, if you have not yet contributed to the revamping fund, please do so tonight. Mbatu needs you. This credit union needs you. Like I've said, it's not charity you're doing, it's your money. Because after this revamping phase, all the monies in the revamping account will eventually be rechanneled into your personal savings account. So you're not doing charity. And I remember there was a time when I heard one Mbatu elite saying that, what is my interest in saving money in a credit union for a 1 or 2% annual interest when I can buy shares in some company and I go and collect my bag of money at the end of the year? Don't think about yourself. You already have your bag of money in those places where you've bought shares. But the 100,000 francs, 200,000 francs, 300,000, 500,000 francs, 1 million francs that you put into Mbatu, that is capital that is going to rotate in the form of loans and investments and so on, and create wealth for the Mbatu people who do not have the privilege of dragging bags of money home like you do from your places where you own shares. So this is the concept of a shared economy, an economy of communion. The only problem is that, yes, we have not been doing things the right way. But if you look at the caliber of people that have invested their time and their energy and their resources this year to make this revamping happen, anybody who has a good heart, anybody who has a reasonable heart, a head, will understand that things have changed and that all we need is a little support from everybody so that we can build a credit union that is worthy of the Mbatu name. I do not really care that the credit unions of other villages, they have taken the lead. Meanwhile, Mbatu was one of the first to start. I don't really care, because this is a marathon and not a sprint. Sprinters win a 100-meter race. Real athletes win marathons. And so, let Mbatu Credit Union be the marathon runner that will use this coming decade to set a new standard of microfinance, community microfinance, credit unions, and their potential to create wealth for the common man. That is where we are headed. I would not have wasted my time to maybe bore you with an 18-minute video if this project did not have my full support. And you know that all we need is a few people who understand finance, who understand investing, who understand development, who understand leadership, and are committed to the destiny of Mbatu. That is all we need to transform this credit union into a monument that will be a reference for other communities in the few years that are ahead of us. I thank you for taking action. I thank you for flying the Mbatu flag higher than it has ever flown before. I am your humble servant, Godfrey Esoh.